Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and do celebrity legal news. Also, join me for my pop culture chats. If you'd like to support the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. My Venmo and Cash App is below. Thank you so much, and let's get started.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, you see the title. My heart is excited because in this OnlyFans pruning from the timeline case from Courtney Clenney, who pruned her boyfriend, Christian Umbuseli, from the timeline. I am excited. I'm excited because there is a trial date. Y'all, there is a trial date, and it's supposed to be December 1st of this year. There has been a lot of twists and turns in regards to this case. There has been the pruning of the timeline, the releasing her, acting like it was self-defense, and then we had issues of her going someplace to some kind of resort or something. She being spotted at this resort. Uh, the family wanting the public to assist them, particularly they wanted Black women to assist. Finding out that Christian Umbuseli had issues with black women. This case is a whole lot of. We are definitely wanting to see this trial. I will be covering this trial. So let's do these couple of things before I start. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, and the views and opinions expressed in my videos express my own thoughts, concerns, and analysis. I do not know these entities or persons personally, and my opinions are not a statement of fact. So let's get into it. We've got like a video, and then we've got some news articles to go over. So let's do this. Let's add this to the stage. Now, this is a Facebook video, child. I'm not proficient on these Facebook videos, but let's go ahead and start this video.
All right, breaking news, folks, out of Florida. We're following new developments in the OnlyFans model murder case for Courtney Clenney.
Big news, the judge has just set the trial date, and it is tentatively scheduled for December 1st of 2025. Clenney is accused of second-degree murder for the stabbing death of her boyfriend, Christian Obumseli.
The OnlyFans model claims that she killed him in self-defense. Prosecutors believe that Obumseli was a victim of domestic violence. Of course, we'll continue to follow developments in this case. Of course, if there are any changes to the date, we will let you know that as well.
And the infamous elevator video that I think everyone has seen will be part of that trial.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have over 100 pounds to lose, and Dr. Nori told me that for me to reach that goal,
All right.
I have to add exercise in addition.
Let me close that out because, again, I'm not as proficient in Facebook as I used to be. I'm not really on Facebook, but I just want to go over that they were describing that this case will be tried. Okay. There we go. This case will be tried December 1st. Now, if you're not familiar with this case, this is the case back in 2022, April 2022. There was a 911 call. Courtney Clenney called 911 and stated that she and her boyfriend had been I'm paraphrasing. She and her boyfriend had been fighting, in that it was self-defense, that she picked up a knife and she stabbed him in his arm, which he ended up bleeding out and bleeding to death. Uh, his family came out talking about the situation and how they felt like it was the MURDER, and was asking for the public to talk to the prosecutors down in Miami or by calls. Everybody was wanting all these things. And then we started finding out some information. So let's go over this article. And this was published in 2022. Let me put it up on the screen. And make sure you all are hitting the like button. It helps with my engagement. All right, so let's put this article on, and it's going to give us pretty much an overview. Now, this was back in April 2022. The curious case of Christian Umbumseli, Courtney Clenney, the white woman who pruned him from the timeline, and the black woman he disparaged. So, Pamela, why are you bringing this up? Because when this all came out, we heard about this issue. We heard about this pruning of timeout. And the thing about this time, I'm trying to encapsulate what was going on in this time on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, on whatever social media platform that you were working with at the particular time. When this story came out, people were completely up in arms about this thing, about how she is doing this. There was a video, and I'm not sure if I can find that video, and I'm not really going to look for it, where after all of this had happened, Courtney Clenney, she was supposed to have gone to rehab or someplace, and a group of black women found her at a resort or someplace, I think it was out in California, do not quote me. And then they started confronting her about how is she out of jail. She had pruned her boyfriend from the timeline. All of this situation, she was with her father at the time as well. And then we started, everybody was like, because this was during like the Ahmaud Arbery case, and the people were still reeling from like George Floyd. People were also reeling from Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, all of these different things about all of these black folks that had been pruned from the timeline, with whomever they were pruned from the timeline by. And so then the family of Christian Umbumseli, as they should have, they came out and they were talking about wanting people to assist them and to help them and to do petitions and to talk, because again, they had also kind of mentioned how people rallied behind Trayvon Martin's mother. All of these different things were going on. And everybody was like, okay, we're going to look over this case and see what was going on. And social media sleuths are always undefeated. Social media sleuths went through and they found out, number one, that Christian Umbumseli, I believe he was a first generation immigrant. His parents were immigrant. He's first generation. They also found out that he had some particular views surrounding black women. And some of the particular views that he did not, and I don't know if it was black women in perpetuity, or was it American black women, but I'm going to make the assumption it was mostly American black women. He called us names like the ghetto bees, all these things. All of these tweets started coming up about how he felt about black women and how he wasn't going to date black women. They were beneath him. They were akatas. They were all of these little different things. Now, I am speaking from the lens that I am talking from this 2025 now. Back then, I didn't understand the severity of all those words and things like that. But I did understand it was like, if you don't like me, if you don't like me or people like me, why are you asking for me to advocate for you? That was my issue. That was my thing. And I kind of pushed this case on the back burner because I'm of the opinion is, if you don't like me, if you don't like anything about me, why are you asking the people within my group to advocate for you, to get out here and march on the streets when I know you don't like me? I know I am not the I know that I am not the demographic that you like. So why would your family, why would anybody ask this demographic to advocate for you? And as I'm talking from a 2025 mind, I am understanding that this is information that we are finding out as Black Americans, that the Black immigrant community, when they come from wherever they come from, they are told, or they have this quote unquote talk. Many, not all. You have to say that because your comment section will be full of folks trying to. That's not everybody, but it's a lot of y'all, and y'all don't check it. That they don't want to interact with Black Americans. Black Americans are lazy. Black Americans are criminals. Black Americans are all these different things. Yet your son gets pruned from the timeline. Your brother gets pruned from the timeline. And then you want to call on us to assist you. So let's go over this particular article. Now, again, this was published April 11, 2022. The curious case of Christian Ubumseli, this is from News One. Courtney Clenney, the white woman who pruned him from the timeline, and the Black women he disparaged. Some Black people are seemingly seeing this as a cautionary tale for anti-Black Negroes who think white women are the answer. It says, unpacking the tragic story of Christian Toby Ubumseli. And Toby is such a a unique name or nickname, knowing that Toby was the nickname or the name that the slave owners in Roots wanted to call Kunta Kinte. Is doing unpacking the tragic story of Christian Toby Ubumseli. It's like doing a deep dive into the subtext and messaging in a Jordan Peele movie. For those who are unaware, Christian Ubumseli, and again, this article was written in April 2022 by Zach Lindley. For those who are unaware, Ubumseli was fatally stabbed inside a luxury apartment building, One Paraiso, in Miami's Edgewater community on April 3rd by his white girlfriend, 25-year-old Courtney Clenney, an OnlyFans model and an Instagram influencer who goes by Courtney Taylor online. So, where to start in unraveling this debacle? Well, how about we start at the fact that 8 days after the fatal pruning, Clenney has yet to be charged with the crime and is still roaming the streets like nothing happened. Again, this article was written April 11, 2025. Okay, let's continue. In fact, less than a week after the stabbing, Clenney was out at a Miami bar when a patron confronted her and basically chased her out of there. And so there is a video and stuff of that. It looks like it was taken down, but we're not going to go back and try to find that video. It says, the caption under the video says, not this fool at Courtney Taylor being out at a bar in Miami like she just didn't prune from the timeline Toby Ubumseli a few days ago. But I thought you were mentally unstable and suicidal. It's the audacity for me. And this was written by Ashley O, who goes by Ashley O, April 9th, 2022. Courtney Clenney's attorney, Frank Perito, told TMZ that his client was at a hotel bar to meet her father, who just arrived in town. He quotes that it's unfortunate that the member of the public, knowing absolutely nothing about the circumstances and events around surrounding the death of Mr. Obumseli would take the opportunity to harass the Clenney family during a time that they're trying to be supportive of Courtney. Now, at that time, too, I will put out there that there were other videos and things like that that were circulating, around different things, and that was circulating about the police being called to the family, all those little different things. All these things were kind of circulating at that time. Now, according to what her attorney said at that time, remember this is April 2022, he claimed that this is not a crime, that she's innocent, and that she acted in self-defense. They do concede that this was a toxic relationship that had their ups and downs. And what we find out in regards to that there had been several calls to the police. There have been several calls to the management of the condominium complex about the fights. The neighbors were talking about the fights that these two had, that they were severe, they were loud, and some people even across the way from the apartment complex were talking about the fights and things like that were going on. Some days you saw that now this is according to what the people who have heard it and who were ear witnesses and eyewitnesses. Some days you saw that they said that he was the aggressor. Some days they said that she was the aggressor, but they were all basically saying that these two people fought like nobody's business. That these two people were arguing and fighting like nobody's business. Like I said, she was an OnlyFans model. It is my understanding he was doing crypto investments and all these types of things. So let's continue. It was clearly a toxic relationship. They had their ups and downs. Unfortunately, it culminated with his pruning from the timeline. It's true that people who knew the couple have described their relationship as volatile, but when it comes to who was the aggressor, tended to be where there were conflicting stories. For example, shortly after the assault, one neighbor who said he had a clear view of the couple's apartment said that a week before the Obumseli's death, he saw Clenney being physically abused. And that's why I was telling you that the person across from their balcony, he was able to see. He says, I could not tell if it was open-handed or closed-handed, but he was swinging at her, the neighbor said. But 3 friends of the couple told a different story. They say that we've seen her hit him. I've never seen him hit her, says Ashley Vaughn, a friend of the couple. From what we personally experienced between the both of them, we believe that Christian wouldn't put her in a position where she would need to assault him to protect herself. The detectives, still Clenney's attorneys insist that his client is the true victim in this case. The detectives and myself thought it was best to have her Baker acted that evening. And let's see what that is. Let's highlight it. So the Baker Act, officially known as the Florida Mental Health Act of 1971, is a law in the state of Florida that allows certain professionals, such as doctors, mental health practitioners, judges, and law enforcement officers to detain and involuntarily commit individuals to a mental health facility for up to 72 hours. Now, according to what they said in this article, that during that time when they arrested her, she had threatened to prune herself from the timeline, so they Baker acted. Now, let's get back to the irony of this story. And I don't know if it's ironic, but I just know that the family came out and they were asking for the help of the public. And so let's get into it. Obumseli didn't appear to like black women. So according to a tweet by Tariq Nasheed, it says a Nigerian man named Christian Obumseli spent years dissing foundational Black Americans on social media. He really showed disdain for Black women. and expressed his love and desire for white women. Well, you know the the old saying, "Be careful what you wish for." And he had like a string of his tweets. Now I'm wondering if he still has this on his page. Let's see. Can we pull this up? So let's share this tab. And said these are tweets that he made. They're not in order, and there is no context. But let's go on. It says, full of ignorant black women. This was on 4/4/2012. The way black girls disgrace themselves on TV. This was 3/28/12. Once again, I'm tired of these black girls in my government class. This is 5/3/2012. And it says at whoever this person is, Akata. And we have found that Akata is a Nigerian slur against black Americans. He tweeted this other person, why is there always that one ghetto black boy in the back talking out through a class? Get out. So clearly he through the text, people were talking that he had some issues, or he had a disdain for black Americans. Now his family said, hey, don't let those tweets happened when he was young and he was a child. And again, I'm speaking from a 2025 mind. That means that him having this type of attitude means that he grew up with this particular attitude. Again, what we know now in regards to continental Africans calling black Americans lazy, cotton pickers, akatas, slaves, stupid. We don't know our culture. Now that we understand, we have a better understanding about how continental Africans and some Caribbean Africans feel about black Americans. It was a hard press for black American women to rally behind this person. So it says here between 2012 and 2018, Ubunselli tweeted things like, black girls are born knowing how to shake they asses. Honestly, I don't care. They're not my type. And once again, I'm tired of these black girls in my government class. There are just a few of his posts among many that explicitly stated that white women were superior to black women in a number of ways. Meanwhile, it was a white woman with whom he had a toxic and violent relationship, with which that caused for the pruning of him from the timeline. Conversely, Clenney expressed that she only dated black guys. She was on Fresh and Fit's podcast making these same statements. She says she only dates rich black guys. So apparently, Umunselli, again, it was understood that he was into crypto and cryptocurrency and all these little different things. So yes, she would date him because she only dated rich black guys. Of course, Umunselli's disparaging of black women caused a lot of black women to understandably become disinterested. I remember his family was saying, oh, he was a young boy. Y'all have to forgive him. He was young. He didn't do that. But again, at that time, a lot of people realized, hey, he grew up believing that. There's no way in the world you're going to make us believe that you all didn't put those thoughts in his head. And so, or you didn't have that firm belief. So we are sad to hear that he has been pruned from the timeline. But if you thought that there was going to be any activism in regards to this young man, you are sorely mistaken. So the family did what they needed to do to make sure that they were going to get justice. They had to work that out themselves. Because I do remember, like his sister, she quit her job to make sure that the police and the prosecution was going to make sure that this case went to trial. So let's continue. Because again, no one is sitting back saying, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, he deserved to die because of his taste in women? Absolutely not. But again, you're not going to get us to rally behind someone who the demographic who you're asking to rally behind him wouldn't he wouldn't spit on them if they was on fire. All right. So this case has had several twists and turns. Now, there was an instant back in, I believe it was 2023, 2024, where Courtney Clenney's parents were arrested. And we're going to review this story out of the six sort of fly. It looks like an NBC 6 in South Florida, written by Courtney Clenney, and this was back published in May 1st of 2025. It says here that her parents, and this is regarding the laptop right here, we're going to go over this. For the past 3 years, there have been plenty of turns in the Clenney case, including the arrest of her parents in February 2024. The arrest of Kim and Deborah Clenney stemmed out of a warrant from the City of Miami Police Department wanting access to their iCloud accounts. Within the cell phone accounts, prosecutors obtained text messages that included parents' communication with their daughter's attorney, allegedly discussing how to break into the victim's laptop, because there was a laptop that was had, and apparently it looked like if I'm not mistaken, that the parents still had the laptop, and they were trying to get into the laptop, but they didn't have the passwords. The attorneys were how to break into the victim's laptop. The attorneys were not charged, but state's attorney ended up filing charges against the parents and the model for allegedly breaking into the computer. Because again, they said that the computer belonged to Christian Umbumseli, and they felt like that computer should have been turned over to the authorities It wasn't. However, months later, state's attorneys were forced to drop the case after Judge Laura Cruz ruled to exclude a key piece of evidence in the laptop case, concluding that prosecutors violated attorney-client privilege by accessing the private family conversations with the attorney. Because again, they said that when they got the iCloud, I think it was the iCloud accounts, that they were privy to attorney-client privilege information, so they had to drop the case. So despite ruling going in their favor, defense attorneys Frank Prieto and Sabrina Pugulis grew more worried about what prosecutors potentially saw in those iCloud accounts. Because again, everybody was texting everybody back and everything like that. So defense believed their accounts accessed by the state's attorney included communication regarding case investigation, witness testimony, defense witnesses, expert witnesses, financial obligation, defense theories, counsel thoughts. They believed that the prosecution had access to all of that. And so from there, they went back at the state's attorney with a vengeance, and the state attorney withdraws from the case. Months after the iCloud ruling against the state's attorney's objection, early this year, Judge Cruz once again sided with Clenney's counsel and granted them the opportunity to question under oath Assistant State's Attorney Khalil Quinan and one of 3 prosecutors assigned to the case about what other materials he might have seen in the accounts. Records show defense attorneys wrote a motion that they believe that Assistant State Attorney Khalil Quinan conducted a search of the iCloud accounts and discovered the teen Courtney communications that the parties believed to be private and privileged. This attorney withdrew from the case, and he was recently deposed by the defense attorney in the presence of the judge. Content of the questioning was kept private, but records obtained show the defense attorney accused Quinan of accessing a document sent from one of Clenney's parents to the attorney entitled Courtney's Checklist of Things to Do, privileged. And that was a document. They also requested for the state's attorney to be disqualified from the case. Records show Clenney's attorneys believed her case had been tainted by improper conduct from the state's attorney's office. The defense claims about 60 people within the office also accessed some of the model's files and records and show that they are demanding that the judge should disqualify the office as a whole or kick out two of the attorneys, Abhoof and Hogue, from the case, claiming it will preserve Clenney's right to a fair trial. Now, they can definitely move her case to a different jurisdiction for a fair trial. Because, again, she could go to Tampa. She can go to Jacksonville. She can go to Tallahassee. They can definitely move her case from that state, from that particular attorney's office, if they feel like she can get a fair trial. On the other hand, in a rare occurrence, the prosecutions raised their right hand in front of the judge when swore they did not personally review any of the privileged communications. So she still is, Courtney Clenney is still behind bars, and she will remain behind bars until her December 1st hearing. When I tell you this case had a lot of twists and turns, y'all, this case got a lot of twists and turns. And I am here for it. And I am ready for this case to go to court. I'm also really ready for this to see what's going on with this case. Because again, there's so much video evidence. There is 911 calls, all of these different things. And also the way the police handled all of this information. There's a lot to this case, and I think it's going to be a very intriguing and juicy case, and I'm ready to review this case. But tell me what y'all think. Are y'all familiar with the Courtney Clenney case? Are y'all familiar with Christian Obumseli and all the things that he's done online? All the information out here in the zeitgeist, all these twists and turns, from arresting the parents, for having to dismiss the case against the parents, all of these different things. Y'all let me know down in the comments. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this case. Please share this. Please share if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. Y'all, Courtney Clenney is supposed to go to court on December 1st. We are looking forward to doing this, and we are also looking forward to review it. Let me know if you're going to be reviewing as well. All right, people. As always, bye-bye.